Friends, Americans, countrymen, lend me your weary, sleep-deprived ears. We're talking about daylight saving time, that biannual ritual where we all pretend to be farmers by moving our clocks forward and backward. It's like the chicken dance of timekeeping, utterly pointless and confusing, yet we keep doing it. Supposedly, it's all about saving energy. The theory is more daylight in the evening means less need for artificial light. But the reality is far more complicated, like a raccoon trying to navigate a revolving door made of energy-efficient light bulbs. Some people love DST. They enjoy the longer summer evenings, the extra BBQ time, the chance to pretend they're vampires who can stay out past sunset. Others despise it, claiming it messes with their sleep, their mood, and their ability to tell time without the aid of a sundial and a team of astrophysicists. And then there's the government, stuck in the middle like a bewildered babysitter trying to reason with two toddlers fighting over a broken crayon. They keep introducing bills, proposing changes, and generally making the whole thing more confusing than a plate of spaghetti served in a blender. The idea of DST has been around longer than Crocs, but just barely. It was first legally mandated during World War I as an energy-saving measure, like asking spiders to spin their webs out of moonlight to save on electricity. Then, it went through a period of being as consistent as a drunkard's aim, with states and cities adopting and abandoning it at will. Finally, in 1966, the Uniform Time Act tried to bring order to the chaos, like a librarian shushing a room full of caffeinated squirrels. It established a national schedule for DST, but even then, some states decided to opt out because nothing says America like exercising your right to be different, even when it comes to something as fundamental as time. Fast forward to today and the debate rages on. Some folks want to make DST permanent, arguing it'll boost the economy, reduce crime, and maybe even make squirrels less jittery. Others want to stick with standard time, claiming it's more natural, healthier, and less likely to make their cats throw up from the stress of altered feeding schedules. It's a mess, is what I'm saying. A glorious time-bending mess that leaves us all wondering if we're coming or going. Now, the arguments for and against DST are about as varied as the toppings on a supreme pizza. Proponents, mostly businesses and lovers of evening barbecues, argue that it boosts the economy. People stay out later, spend more money, and generally contribute to a livelier atmosphere. Opponents, on the other hand, point to studies showing an increase in heart attacks, strokes, and traffic accidents in the days following the springtime change. They argue that messing with our internal clocks is like asking a bear to dance the tango. It's unnatural, potentially dangerous, and likely to end in tears, or at least a lot of grumbling. The truth, as always, is likely somewhere in the middle. DST probably does have some economic benefits, but at what cost to our collective health and sanity? It's a question that has plagued philosophers, scientists, and sleep-deprived citizens for decades. The funny thing is, the rest of the world isn't quite sure what to make of our time-bending antics. About 70 countries observe DST, while many others, particularly those near the equator, where daylight hours are relatively consistent, look at us like we're trying to reinvent the wheel while riding a unicycle on a tightrope. Even within the US, there are holdouts. Hawaii and most of Arizona are like the cool kids in school, who refuse to follow the crowd and stick to standard time year-round. They seem perfectly content with their lot, enjoying the same number of hours in the day without the added confusion of clock manipulation. So, what's the answer? Permanent DST? Year-round standard time? Or should we just all agree to synchronize our watches to the internal clock of a particularly punctual groundhog and call it a day? It's a question that will likely continue to be debated, analyzed, and ultimately left unresolved, much like the mystery of why Crocs ever became popular in the first place.